A $90 million claim on Tarion, who is the insurance provider of new homes when you buy a pre-construction property. And they're expecting such a large claim because a lot of builders are going bankrupt, they're building illegally, and a whole bunch of shenanigans are happening. And I'll be breaking all of this down on what it means, especially if you are unfortunately part of one of these kind of projects where you did buy the property and you may be losing on your deposit. So make sure to stay tuned. Now, if you're looking to make a move in the spring real estate market and you don't want to be, buying pre-construction and be caught in this whole fiasco right now, make sure you book a call with me using the link that's on the screen right here. It's www.chatwithzen.com.
Simply click on the date and a time that works best for you. And then when you see the prompt, fill in your name, email, mobile phone number, and the question you have for me, and then we'll chat then.
Good day, Toronto. Welcome to another episode of Prime Properties TV. My name is Zhen, and if you're enjoying the content I'm putting out there, do me a solid and like and subscribe. So the article we'll be covering today is Tarion faces largest claim event in its history as builders are walking away from projects and home owners are losing their deposit. Now, let me preface this article because I briefly scanned through it initially. This is mainly applying to people who bought a freehold home. This does not apply to people who bought a pre-construction condo. This is specifically for freehold homes at the moment right now. So when you're watching this, do not freak out if you have a pre-construction coming, especially if it's a condo. This is more so for houses. So we'll start this article off with the fact that Tarion is expecting to pay $90 million to homeowners who bought from these builders who are no longer building, have gone bankrupt, or just kind of pieced out with the money, right? So $90 million is quite a lot of money, but if I were to do the math, Tarion, when you buy a new property, charges you $1,500 kind of like to register for the insurance, right? I have a lot of feedback about that, but I will not put that in this video on how useful it is. But $1,500 per unit, that's like on $90 million, 60,000 new homes, and then we've covered this $90 million. Yeah, I think we built 60,000 homes, give or take. So yeah, they can probably cover it, right? They have no money for it. It's been so long, right? You can see over here that if a builder fails to deliver a home to the purchaser and cannot refund the purchaser, because they're not there anymore, or belly up, a deposit claim can be made by that purchaser to Tarion to get a return on the deposit, right? Now, I highlighted here over here that the majority of these claims would not be covered by home warranty programs in other provinces, and the fact that homeowners are under some protection, as per Tarion, is great. Yeah, cool. That's kind of like, hey, let's just, walk on the grave of the dead and just do a small victory dance lap. Because if anyone remembers, this article came out in November 1st, 2023. Loophole means buyers' deposits with insolvent builders unprotected. And we talked about that. And here we are, $90 million. Who didn't see that coming? Right? So this is mainly the coverage for Tarion. So essentially, Jan 1st, 2018, you bought a home afterwards. Anything that is less than 600 grand, you have up to 60,000 and it is covered, right? So 10% of it. But here's the kicker. What home is under 600,000, right? That's a freehold, right? So when we look at this stuff, which is 600,000 and above properties, it covers 10% of the home, which is wonderful, but it's capped at $100,000, meaning that if you bought anything over $1 million, good luck, you're not going to get anything past the $100,000 deposit. And when I see some of these homes that, have been built and what kind of deposit they've asked for, yeah, the deposit's more than 100 grand. So even if, you make a claim to Tarion, unfortunately, you're out the difference between what you paid as a deposit and the 100 grand you can recover from Tario, right? And they're saying that for most people that put down more than 100 grand deposits, they will lose that money. That is very, very, very unfortunate. Now, most consumers don't have that means to take this to court, but they're up against major builders. And even if you do, it depends on where the, call it filing, the receivership or bankruptcy is, because if you go, pursue this and you spend legal money, right, you may not recover that money because you're not going to be like top of line to recover your money. You have to have a lot of disbursements, legals, all of the jazz and like taxes that have to be paid up from the corporation before it probably gets to you. Now, the consumer protection organizations are falling short of their obligations by not educating purchasers on what the potential risks are or vetting builders stringently. More needs to be done to clamp down on these bad actors, right? So I think they're taking shots at like State View, the builder, and some other companies who are just kind of walking away. And what's essentially happening is if you bought a freehold home, the money you paid as a deposit doesn't go into like a trust account that's protected, right? Which is the case if you buy a condo, right? There's under the Condo Act, the money is held in trust. But the thing with freehold is the money is not held in trust. And there are allegations of like some of these builders spending that money without building the homes, right? And, you know, as the tide kind of comes out, we're seeing who's swimming naked, right? And that's kind of unfortunately what's happening. We're in a market where prices have dropped and it's not economically viable to build anymore. So this is what a lawyer is saying. And yes, there are conditions where people cannot build, but you should be getting your money back. But the problem is if you're not getting your money back and they can't build and the money has been spent already, or, you know, they're missing, that's kind of the loophole and the problem I was kind of talking about, right? It's very, very unfortunate. And this is the problem of the freehold pre-construction world. So the final comment over here is basically that Tarion should follow the deposit protection laws outlined in the Condominium Act, like I was saying a little bit earlier, which requires the condo builders to put their deposits in trust, right? But the same laws don't apply for freehold buyers, which is why we had this whole loophole situation, right? And that, which is completely irresponsible. And after this whole fiasco, I suspect things will come into play for that. How it's going to affect the market, I'm not really sure right now because the market's not moving, but it's probably good to protect the consumers because a lot of times people are just trying to get into buy a home and they don't understand the repercussions of all of this. And when you have someone in the freehold pre-construction buyer space, they are given a giant contract and there is no rescission time on it, meaning there's no 10-day cooling period on freehold. You sign on the dotted line and it's a firm contract. Nobody in the sales offices are reading these contracts, right? They're just not. So that's why I think the education needs to go out there, but at the same time, people who aren't educated or can't read through these contracts need to be given some kind of rules to be protected from in case all this happens again. And it's very unfortunate because a few $100,000 lost where nothing is going to be like provided, let alone you may get just a little bit back, could be catastrophic for a lot of families. And it's very unfortunate to see, but in a market that's coming down like this, and we're seeing again like the tide come out, I just feel really bad for a lot of these people who are like caught up in this, unfortunately. So, and unfortunately, that's just kind of like how the rules are right now. So hopefully Ontario or Tarion can do something about this in the future to protect future home buyers in the pre-construction space. And this is why I've been saying for quite some time, you really got to watch out for what you're buying in pre-construction, especially in the freehold space where you don't even have that 10-day cooling off period, right? Hopefully this kind of sheds more light onto the kind of the pre-construction fiasco that's happening. I suspect we'll hear more of it in the future as more and more stories of stuff like this kind of happens. And if you're looking for some help, not in the pre-construction space, again, if you're trying to buy some resale home in the spring market for your family, you could book a call with me using the link that's on the screen right here. It's www.chatwithzen.com. Until next time, your move, your future. See ya. Now that you're done watching this one, how about this one or this one? You know what? Just watch them both.